Alright, Doctor Who fans, and welcome to the Who Universe news. And we obviously have to talk about this week's Children in Need feature for Doctor Who because, well, we've got some images from this scene and it's quite clear where we're heading. It's looking more and more likely we're heading to Skaro because this scene right here that we have of the 14th Doctor from this Children in Need scene shows him standing next to what looks like a partially built Dalek from the classic series, which, yeah, it pretty much tells us that we're going to Skaro. I mean, there's no, you can't really like deny it's not Skaro, especially seeing this half of a Dalek that's standing right next to him in this shot, and it's just, it just basically gives us the clear, the probably the biggest hint of them all that it's going to be taking place in Skaro. And interestingly enough, we are going to be meeting a character in this scene played by an actor and comedian, Marwan Rizwan, who they do mention that, well, interestingly, his CV mentions that he's playing a character called Mr. Castavilla. I hope I pronounced that right. Essentially, it's believed, judging by the outfit that he's wearing, that he's basically one of the humanoids races in Skaro called Kaline, who were one of the last humanoids who used to live in Skaro, the home of the Daleks. And I believe these were a part of the original, like I said, part of the original humanoid race who were essentially there when the Doctor first met the Daleks all the way back in 63 when the Daleks were first introduced to the world. So if this is true, then that basically means he knows those people, right? He knows the people who the Doctor first met in Skaro. He would know quite clearly who's responsible for that. So that's really interesting that we're going to be a character who's and it's also being labeled as a prequel to Genesis of the Daleks in a way because of all the symbols on his shirt. It kind of does symbolize that this could very well be a prequel to Genesis of the Daleks, or at least that's how the fans are looking at this. So maybe it is a prequel to Genesis of the Daleks. It's really hard to tell if it is going to be, but considering we've got a Dalek that almost resembles the classic style Daleks, you would come with the impression that yes, this is going to be a prequel to Genesis of the Daleks, the popular Tom Baker Dalek story back in 74. Yeah, back in his early days as the Doctor, pretty much. So, and which is also good because David Tennant also talks a lot about Tom Baker, saying that he used to watch Tom Baker growing up. So essentially, he'll know that story because of the fact that he grew up with Tom Baker. So he's going to know that. Now, of course, as well as that, we are going to get a special Doctor Who Unleashed that's going to be releasing on the Whoniverse on BBC iPlayer. So that'll be something to look forward to. And in fact, we do get some quotes from Russell T Davies as well as the special guests who mentioned. In fact, these are comments coming from Russell T Davies and from him, obviously. But they do mention here that obviously David Tennant's quotes, which say that every year that I was on Doctor Who, we did something for BBC Children in Need. So it only feels right to be doing something this year. Children in Need is a national tradition. It's certainly a BBC tradition, and Doctor Who is a part of that. I'm so glad we're able to give Children in Need viewers this little extra treat. And then, of course, Rizwan says it was such an unbelievable joy to work with my Whovian Whoniverse idols, David Tennant, Russell T Davies, and my inner child was losing his mind on set. So obviously he's a big fan of David Tennant and Russell T Davies's work in Doctor Who. And then, of course, Russell adding his fine print into this, saying that Doctor Who has a fine tradition of supporting BBC Children in Need, and I hope that the fans and the new viewers alike will be able to watch, enjoy, and contribute to this wonderful cause. Obviously, Russell T Davies has been a huge supporter with BBC Children in Need, so of course he's going to try and encourage us to want to donate, of course, which, by the way, for considering it's this Friday, if you do want to get the head start on the donations, there'll be a link in the description to the Children in Need website donation page if you want to begin donating for BBC Children in Need, which, of course, the live show itself will be on at 7 p.m. on Friday the 17th. On BBC One and also on BBC iPlayer as well, if you want to watch over there. to see the live show of Children in Need 2023. Which is this coming Friday. And it's also kind of also fitting because it's basically our first new Doctor Who content of obviously for 2023. Well, our first new actual, I guess you could say our first new televised Doctor Who content in terms of like new stuff for Doctor Who for 2023, because of course it's kind of funny to think that it's now essentially we're near enough a week till David Tennant's proper return, which is the Star Beast. Yeah, the episode that's he's meant to be returning on the 25th of November. So yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that Donna Noble is going to be back in a week on television. That's insane to me that we're going to see Donna Noble back in like a week on Saturday. There you go, it's happening. So yeah, it's going to be a great like few days coming up, knowing that Doctor Who's going to get a lot of publicity heading towards the return of the show a week on Saturday, which also means that Radio Times are guaranteed to be promoting Doctor Who on their next issue, which is next week. So we can definitely expect a lot of Doctor Who mentions on the TV guides next week. And obviously Radio Times have promised a Doctor Who special this month. So that's probably going to come out next week, where they're going to do a whole special dedicated to the show's return for the 60th anniversary. So I have no doubt to believe that Radio Times will be releasing their Doctor Who issue next week to celebrate Doctor Who's return to the schedules, which is going to be very exciting that we're going to have new Doctor Who to look forward to a week on Saturday. Man, I cannot wait. It can't come soon enough, can it? That the fact that we're a week away from Doctor Who's return to our television screens with the Star Beast. But of course, it doesn't. But however, though, the Doctor Who news doesn't stop there, because you may remember that I mentioned about an actress who's going to be appearing in next year's Doctor Who special, or Christmas special, should I say? Nicole Colane, who you may recognize from Derby Girls, and also she appeared with Ncuti Gatwa in Barbie earlier in the year. Surprisingly enough, she's going to be appearing as a guest star for next year's Christmas special of Doctor Who. And we actually have this really nice image of her outfit that she'll be wearing in this episode, which is, yeah. And also she actually leaves a very special YouTube short to Doctor Who fans. She's very excited about working with her friend Ncuti in next year's Christmas adventure. And then, of course, she does actually give some interviews about being excited about joining the Whoniverse, where she says, "I'm very excited to join the Whoniverse under the leadership of the immortal Russell T Davies. I've been a fan of Ncuti Gatwa for some time, and getting to share the screen with him as the Doctor has been an absolute joy." And then Russell goes on to say, "This is with Nicola lighting up the stage set and bringing joy from Derby Valley to Bridgetown to the TARDIS. It's a trip of a lifetime." So yeah, and also another actor who's going to be appearing in Doctor Who is going to be Joe Fry, who's also going to be coming to Doctor Who next year for the Christmas adventure of Doctor Who in 2024. So we now know that Nicholas Coleridge and Joey Fry are going to be two of the guest stars to be appearing in next year's Christmas Doctor Who, which is, it's pretty crazy that we're hearing about two guest stars already for next year's Christmas adventure of Doctor Who, even though we haven't even had Ncuti's first Christmas yet. There you go. We basically now get a little taste of some of the stars for Ncuti's second Christmas as the 15th Doctor. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what this next year brings for Ncuti, and how it's going to accommodate with next year's Christmas special, now that one of Ncuti's great friends from Barbie movie is going to be joining him within the next year, which is, so that's another, at least some new guest stars we can look forward to within the next year for Doctor Who. And it's certainly going to be interesting to see what will transpire when Doctor Who returns. Well, when Doctor Who's Christmas specials finally return to Christmas Day, and the fact that this is probably going to, and it's very likely that the 2024 Christmas special is probably going to go out on Christmas Day as well, just like this year's episode, it will just like Shooty's debut is going to go out on Christmas Day. Chances are this one's probably going to go out on Christmas Day as well. So yeah, it's so cool to see that we're getting a glimpse at the following Christmas for Doctor Who. Pretty excited. Yeah, pretty insane that is a taste of things to come for Doctor Who. But yeah, really, these are pretty much the main headlines really at this time, because we're obviously waiting for some more Doctor Who and that, and then of course, I mean, we're still kind of waiting to hear about this whole lost episode of Doctor Who, whether if it's ever going to return to the BBC or not. Obviously, no updates have been given whatsoever. But yeah, at this time, really, we're just hanging tight, waiting for not long to go until David Tennant's finally back in the driver's seat for this year's Doctor Who, for the new Doctor Who episodes that are going to be coming up. So like I said, let me know in the comment section if you're excited about the return of Doctor Who, beginning with Children in Need this Friday, and of course with a new episode to look forward to the week after that, a week on Saturday. It's going to be really so many exciting things are happening with Doctor Who, and I cannot wait. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you all when we'll find out the schedules for Wild Blue Yonder later this week, because they'll be announcing the schedules on Thursday for the Wild Blue Yonder time slot, which is looking very likely to be a 6:30 start time, which is wouldn't be surprising if they stick to that time slot, considering they want to be consistent. So, of course, they're probably going to stick with it. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys soon.